actually building out everything that's necessary worldwide and being compensated in the energy that they save. Okay, this is the whole point about monetizing energy, is that it is possible to completely turn the equation upside down. Instead of the completely fatuous emissions trading, carbon trading that we have, which I wrote 6 years ago will not work, cannot work. Somebody actually said, invest in energy savings and distribute the benefit to all.
Thank you for that passionate vision. If I may ask for a round of applause for the first panel speakers, please. We've got this place surprisingly for a long time, but we're going to take a break for 5 minutes, and then some issues that haven't been addressed, like the new media revolution, will be addressed by Dr. Makram Khoury-Makhloul, from the screen to the square. We'll also have Adil Darwish, I'm delighted, the political editor of the Middle East magazine, about the constitutional issues, changing the Middle East through reform in Egypt. Is a counter-revolution in the making? And finally, Vijay Mehta on disarming military regimes. So I'll maybe, break for 5 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah. When Wayne actually invited me, I said to him, I remember having lunch, I said, having a little bit of a problem with the title, because what he meant by actually transformation in the Muslim world, and does he mean that the countries where majority are Muslims? And then does it actually include or exclude the non-Muslims in those countries? But anyway, so that was just a thought in. Maybe you can provide that later on. Why Egypt? I mean, if we look traditionally into the larger Middle East region, we see when the Muhammad Ali reformed and created the modern Egyptian state, and Egyptian did not have a nation state. I mean, as a nation state, it remained of the same people, the same demographic population, and the same borders basically for about 7,000 years. They expanded several times all the way south through Sudan, and then shrunk up again, but the actual main body remained the same. But since the fall of Cleopatra and the Roman occupation, the Arab invasion and so on, there's not been a modern state. The modern state was created around the beginning of the 19th century. That's Muhammad Ali and his sons and his family. And during that time, when he started modernizing, and the title I chose was the counter-revolution. In fact, possibly I'd say we don't even need a counter-revolution because the regime has not changed. The regime was made of Mubarak and his party, the National Democratic Party, which was called under Colonel Nasser the Socialist Union, which was one party Stalinist-style system, and that is just changed name. So it's still one party system, and in that whole destruction of civil society, destruction of trade union has affiliated very much the party. The party is funded by very corrupt businessmen, extremely corrupt, and nothing actually being done in Egypt unless you actually pay a bribe. I mean, even the policeman in the hotel room supposed to be guarding against possible someone smuggling a bomb in a suitcase or something like that. He would actually take bakshish from you. Actually, you give him £5 or £10 as you go out. So the corruption was actually from top to bottom. The other phase of the coin of the corrupt National Democratic Party was the Muslim Brotherhood. There's some kind of unwritten, unspoken agreement between the two. When the election comes, the Muslim Brotherhood did not contest all because seats actually live in areas like Luxor, for example, live in tourism. One in his right mind is going to elect them because if you live in tourism where you need some kind of liberalization in the culture there. But Mubarak was using them to scare the Americans and to scare the liberals. Most people who were asking for democracy, for reform, were liberal-minded, middle-class people and women. And to scare them off,
and I'm pleased Makram, despite some illness, has made it here. Dr. Makram, okay, very briefly, his title is From the Screen to the Square. Over to you on the New Revolution, New Media Revolution.
Thank you, Main, for organizing this event, and thank you all for staying, actually, here, despite the cold temperature a while ago, but I think that now it's better. As we are in England as well, I thought it would be very important to remind ourselves that between 1642 and 1651, England was embattled in a ferocious civil war. During this decade, a very important philosopher emerged, Thomas Hobbes, and wrote two books, The Leviathan and Behemoth, which became actually a cornerstone of political science and political theory. In this mass, he addressed the topic of revolution, and he made a very powerful case against the notion of revolution demanding a very strong central power. Why? Because he said that revolutions lead to chaos. But then he said that the solution to this is to reach a situation of enlightenment. And this can happen through educating the public. And my question here is, would it be possible to, as one of the gentlemen here noted, that we could have more peaceful revolutions if we use media education in the Arab world and invest in media education more, so that we have political change, unlike the one that we are having at the moment in Libya, which is very much similar to the example that Thomas Hobbes alluded to. I have prepared a 45-minute academic lecture, which I am not going to read, unless you insist and throw stones.
You can always send us by email.
Sorry, give us the web address.
2 decades, people argued that the internet has transformed the lives of societies across the globe. I'm not saying that this is not entirely right, nor am I going to dismiss it, but I think that the general impression is that this is quite a complex matter which we should be tackling properly and very delicately, especially that we did not have so far any empirical studies or research arguing for this matter. However, what I would say though here is that I'm of the opinion that the unfolding events, and I'm choosing my words, I'm saying the unfolding events in the Arab world, and I'm not choosing any other term to describe what's going on because we do not know where it's going to lead us. The unfolding events in the Arab world have not been caused by the so-called new media, social media revolution. Twitter, Flickr, MySpace, Facebook, all do not cause revolutions. The culmination of the revolution, or the mediated events that we have been witnessing, actually were when these poor people burnt themselves and set themselves on fire, or actually were killed. In the case of Egypt, they were killed by security forces like Khalid Said, which after that led to the establishment of the first phase.